can do it. Come on. I said hip hop, here's the hip to the hip hop. You don't stop the rock to the bang bang music. Up to the Rudy, the bang bang Rudy of beat. Now what you hear is not a test on rapping to the beat. Meet the groom and my friends are gonna try and move their feet. Now I am one man and I like to say hello to the black, white, red, and brown, purple, and yellow. First you gotta bang, bang, booty. Who said up to the booty, bang, bang, booty of the beat. Rock, you don't stop, and make your body rock. Now I am one man, and I brought two friends along.
Stand over there.
Tick-tock, come on and sing your song. Little ladies feel the word fight your mind alive. Cause I'm the grand grasses, the grand master of PMC. 3MC, so chug the house for the young ladies. The ladies fight for a body life. Cause I'm the grand master of the 3MC, so chug the house for the ladies.
Growing up in Skye, the Coolins for me have always been a very inaccessible place. There's an incredible knife-edge ridge that runs right the way along the top of them. And I've always wondered whether it would be possible for me to ride my mountain bike up there.
It was lying there, resting. Didn't use energy, just lying there, breathing, trying to be alone. The fire department pushed it back into the sea to make it go away, but it came back. It was sick, it was dying, and eventually decided to shoot it.
As soon as we were able to see what was inside, we were all shocked.
It was more looking like a garbage bag, just masses and massive of plastic bags twisted into each other and forming like one big lump of plastic.
Evil. Pure evil.
Invader. He got lost coming here, and he's the one that named us Indians because he thought he was in India. So he's not a good figure to the Native community.
Confused. I don't think we should have a holiday for it.
Pain, claiming North America as like land that could be claimed and could be taken. It's the start of a lot of pain.
Christopher Columbus.
I guess ignorance.
Oh my God, murder, rapist.
Genocide. The atrocities committed, just grotesque. And the scars are still felt today.
Evil. Evil.
Fuck him. Yeah, fuck Columbus.
Fuck Christopher Columbus.
That's a big fuck you. He's the first terrorist in America, that's for sure.
So according to the U.S. government law, it says if you partake in somebody that's stealing, then you're just as guilty. Everybody knows the United States was stolen. So therefore, all those that are original, that knows about the genocide, the rape, the murder, the theft, the putting on the reservations on a rock that they couldn't survive on, they're going to have to face judgment.
Murderer, rapist. It always was weird to me to have that day off in celebration of somebody. Like, we don't have a day for Hitler, but it's, you know, it's the same thing.
Like there are so many other people that Italian Americans or Italians can hold up as their heroes besides Columbus.
Wrong.
Fake.
Fake.
What do they teach you about Christopher Columbus in school?
They teach us that Christopher Columbus discovered America.
What should they teach?
That Christopher Columbus didn't discover anything and instead got lost.
What's your name?
Kunta Kinte.
When the master gives you something, you take it. He gave it a name. It's a nice name. It's Toby. And it's going to be yours till the day you die. Now, I know you understand me, and I want to hear it. Again! I want to hear you say your name. Your name is Toby. What's your name?
Kunta.
What's your name? Say it. Cut him down. Damn nigger! Or no. Well, the lad's made his choice.
This world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children. Victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Right now, I'm kind of numb to it. Like, to be honest, I just don't really feel much. I pray for his family. I pray for his soul that it, you know. I try not to think about it.
Without skin, it was clear to me that starvation had pushed these helpless kids to the verge of death. This little boy is 7 years old.
Meet Dr. Noon S. Amun-Ra. He only eats one vegan meal a day. That's right, he only eats 1 hour a day, proving if you eat healthy, you will not lose muscle or lack energy. He even set a world record in deadlifting. But his goal is not bodybuilding or strength. It's anti-aging, longevity, and the highest quality of health and life. We're not telling people to eat only one meal a day, but we are here to show you what's possible with intermittent fasting and that we do not have to eat animal products in order to thrive.
Cyclic fasting, for instance, is known to potently promote growth hormone release. So throughout the duration of a daily fast, your growth hormone concentration tends to increase. If you combine that with resistance exercise in the evening, as you probably know, that increases testosterone production. When you sleep, that increases growth hormone production, IGF production. So we're talking about anabolic hormones that essentially promote the preservation of muscle tissue. So a regimen which entails daily cyclic fasting, evening resistance training, all of these things combine to enhance the preservation and also augmentation of muscle tissue.
So you found that you only have to sleep half as much as the average person?
Yes, that was one of the first things that I observed. I was able to do without as much sleep as I had previously, and I was able to recuperate from exertion far more rapidly than I had been in the past. I was simply interested intellectually in the pursuit of anti-aging studies, anti-senescence studies.
I would advise my viewers who might be questioning your authenticity that you won that case. Now, so the charge was practicing medicine without a license and claiming that you had a remedy to cure AIDS, cancer, and diabetes. So the question is, how did you win that case against what some people say are the toughest prosecutors in the land?
Well, it was 1987.
87, not 79, 87.
The 10th of February.
Okay.
My mother knew they were coming. When I told my mama that I had cured my 13 AIDS patient, she said, "They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you."
So let me stop you there. You said I cured my 13 AIDS patients.
Yeah.
So you had 13 patients
Yeah.
who had AIDS.
Yeah.
And then you say
you
cured them.
Sure.
Keep talking.
So my mother said, "They're gonna get you." I said, "But Mom, why are they gonna get me?" Because you must remember that you live in a society that supports a certain philosophy and a certain system. You being the color that you are, black, and then you're going against the grain, they're going to get you. So when I'm in my office on February the 10th, here come the detectives. You are charged with practicing medicine without a license, selling product not approved by the FDA, and claiming to cure AIDS and other diseases. I said, yes. well, you are making a fraudulent claim. I asked the detective, how do you know that?
Because you were advertising in newspapers.
Of course. I advertised in the Village Voice, the Amsterdam News, and the New York Post.
And you were telling people through your advertising that you can cure
AIDS, sickle cell, lupus, herpes, blindness, diabetes, paralysis, and others.
Okay, so they come knocking on the door and
So knocked on my door and took me to jail. But the funny thing about it, I was happy. I was very, very, extremely happy. When everybody in my office was crying, I was happy because my mama told me they were coming. And I knew that I had sufficient evidence to prove my position. Not only scientifically, empirically, historically, and whatever way they would desire. So while I was in jail, I'm saying, I wonder what defense they would have against me.
Yeah.
I would like to know. But I didn't blame the Attorney General, Mr. Robert Abrams, because why should he accept from me the statement that I cure AIDS and sickle cell and blindness when no one else has ever made those claims? The man had a right to arrest me, but he was making a mistake. When I went in front of the judge, I asked 3 questions.
And they were?
They were, Your Honor.
You defended yourself?
Of course I did.
Okay.
Your Honor, is it a fact that the Holy Bible teaches that the herbs are for the healing of the nations? She said, yes. Is it a fact that science shows that the human body is carbon-based, and to complement a carbon-based body, you must have a carbon-based substance to complement it, because the body only accepts the substance through the process of chemical affinity. Chemical affinity is important. It's an electrical transfer. Chemical affinity. Okay. The body could only accept what it is made of, not something new or alien to it. Last question. Your Honor, is it a fact that the father of medicine, Mr. Hippocrates, the man that established the principle of medical science today, cured every disease known to man? Did he use herbs or chemicals? She said, herbs. I said, thank you very much. I rest my case.
Dr. Caldwell, I've seen a couple of your videos in the past, and one of them I thought was interesting, that you said every cancer can be cured in 2 to 6 weeks. Can you talk a little bit more about that, and what are some of the ways that that's possible?
In my experience, every cancer can be cured in 2 to 16 weeks. The second the body gets alkaline and oxygen rich, with juicing a lot of greens like chlorophylls, everything that's green has a lot of chlorophyll, gives the body a lot of oxygen. Getting your body alkaline with good calcium, with good nutrition, with good trace supplements, trace minerals, will help to alkalize the body. So that means the second you are alkaline, the cancer already stops. It can take a couple of days, a couple of weeks, but it stops.
Ah, the government. It loves you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it, all spun from Black's Law Dictionary. For example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oopsie-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government. Did you know that whenever you register something, you are handing over title to the person you register it with? That's right. Whenever you register something with the government, they assume it belongs to them. Registered your car? Super! Now you are the registered keeper of your vehicle, and the government can crush it when you don't pay your, straw man's taxes. Expecting a new bundle of joy? Well, then you need to register your little darling with a birth certificate. Then they can start the process all over again and create a new straw man for your little one. Isn't that great? So when Junior grows up, he'll be able to generate revenue just like you have. When you notify on your baby by signing the birth certificate, your child becomes a ward of state. And if the government doesn't like what you're doing, they'll assume it's okay to take the child away or make new rules for things they don't like. Not enough school? Smacking your child? Shouting too loudly? Then it's off to social services for the little one. When you get a bill, it's sent to you but belongs to your straw man, not you. That's why bills, fines, and summons start with Mr., Mrs., or Ms. Sometimes you'll see your surname in capitals, just like on a gravestone. That's because your straw man is dead and just a silly piece of paper, created before you could comprehend or even consent to it. When you go to court, you represent your straw man, so you, the human, take on any costs, fees, taxes, and fines involved for the straw man. The human you doesn't even need to pay them. But you made a contract with the court by appearing on behalf of your legal personality or straw man, just like the government knew you would. Confused? Well, don't worry. The government doesn't want you to know anyway. If you knew, you'd stop paying things like council tax and parking tickets. Because when you go to court, you are representing your straw man. You are you, alive and made of flesh and blood. Your straw man, or legal personality, is a piece of paper created from your birth certificate. And you think it's you. What a silly Billy. Would you like to know more? Well, then go over to tpuc.org. Get up, get informed, and get real.
Let's say the United States needs money. Instead of issuing their own United States notes backed by their own credit, they issue treasury bonds. They then sell these bonds to the Federal Reserve, which buys them with money they created out of thin air. The money that the Fed created then goes to the U.S. The U.S. then pays interest on the money that the Fed lent to the Treasury. So to clarify, the Fed creates money from nothing, loans that money to the U.S., and then charges interest on that money. What this means is that there is never and will never be enough money in circulation or in existence to pay back that debt. We as a country, as well as private citizens, are forever enslaved by debt with no way of ever paying it off. Now, when the Federal Reserve buys bonds on Wall Street, the major financial firms that have been selected as dealers deposit the proceeds at their own banks. Fed rules require banks to keep 10% of their deposits in reserves, but the bank is free to issue loans equal to the remaining 90%. Let's say the Federal Reserve buys a $1,000 bond. After putting away 10% into their reserves, they are then able to loan out 90%, or $900. Since the original $1,000 is still on deposit, the $900 in loan proceeds is more new money, money created out of nothing. A total of $1,900 of new money is now available in the economy. Now the person that took the $900 loan spends that money. The payee then deposits the $900 into their bank account, and once again, reserves and deposits increase. This process goes on until that original $1,000 bond, which was created from nothing, becomes $10,000, making this one full-fledged debt machine while also devaluing the dollar. The more money that is out in the economy, the more the value decreases. There's no wonder that since the implementation of the Federal Reserve in 1913, the dollar has lost over 95% of its value. The US dollar will eventually be destroyed due to an overwhelming financial crisis, and a globalist-run monetary authority will come along to save the day. And much like the Fed pretends that its goal is to prevent another Great Depression, the global currency will pledge to prevent another financial crisis, thus putting more power into the hands of a few and enslaving humanity that much more.
Our government has a firm policy not to capitulate to terrorist demands, that no concessions policy remains in force. In spite of the wildly speculative and false stories about arms for hostages and alleged ransom payments, we did not, repeat, did not trade weapons or anything else for hostages. Nor will we.
The ballad of the bullet, some freedom or some bullshit. Will we ever do it big or just keep settling for little shit? We brag on having bread, but none of us are bakers. We all talk having greens, but none of us own acres. If none of us own acres and none of us grow wheat, then who will feed our people when our people need to eat? So it seems our people starve from lack of understanding, cause all we seem to give them is some ballin' and some dancing and some talking about our car and imaginary mansions. We should be indicted for bullshit we inciting, telling children deaf and pretending it's exciting. We are advertisements for agony and pain. We exploit the youth, we tell them to join the gang. We tell them dope stories, introduce them to the game. Just like our lover North introduced us to cocaine in the 80s when them bricks came on military plane.
A few months ago, I told the American people I did not trade arms for hostages. My heart and my best intentions still tell me that's true, but the facts and the evidence tell me it is not.
The end of the Reagan era, I'm like Lemma 12er, old enough to understand the shit had changed forever. They declared the war on drugs, like a war on terror, but what it really did was let the police terrorize whoever. But mostly black boys, but they would call us niggas, and lay us on our belly while they fingers on their triggers. They boots was on our head, they dogs was on our crotches, and they would beat us up if we had diamonds on our watches. And they would take our drugs and monies as they pick our pockets. I guess that's the privilege of policing for some profit. But thanks to Reaganomics, prison turned to profits, cause free labor's the cornerstone of US economics. Cause slavery was abolished unless you are in prison. You think I ambush it and then read the 13th Amendment. Involuntary servitude and slavery it prohibits. That's why they giving drug offenders time in double digits. Ronald Reagan was an actor, not at all a factor, just an employee of the country's real masters. Just like the Bushes, Clinton and Obama, just another talking head telling lies on teleprompters. If you don't believe the theory, then argue with this logic. Why did Reagan and Obama both go after Gaddafi? We invading sovereign soil, going after oil. Taking countries is a hobby paid for by the oil lobby. Same as in Iraq and Afghanistan. And Ahmadinejad say they coming for Iran. They only love the rich and how they load the poor. If I say any more, they might be at my door. Who the fuck is that? Staring in my window, doing that surveillance on Mr. Michael Render. I'm dropping off the grid before they pump the lead. I leave you with 4 words, I'm glad Reagan dead.
Ronald Wilson
Where's my copper staff?
Organized is not good at making copper.
What do you use? Steel. Oh, I see. Wait, why does copper not work?
It releases deadly orgone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
All right. Jake.
What up? We're about to fucking end this. Oh my god.
Alright, check this out. The Earth is flat. We have a dome above us with water above that dome. Stars and planets are mounted upon that dome. So what is a shooting star? A shooting star is a wheel. It is made of crystal. It runs on air. And it uses magnetism. This is a warship that can monitor the thoughts of a whole city. There are over 1,500 of these, and each one of these has 30 missiles mounted in it that go into the earth a mile deep, blow up and make a mountain, and can destroy anything within a 50 square mile radius. This is who is backing us. We know exactly where to go and exactly what to do. We know exactly where to go and exactly what to do. We can end this whole rat race, slavery system. Everyone filled with poison so much. I can barely look at people in the eyes when I go to the grocery store. I try to always be respectful. Every time I pass them, I look at them in the eyes and I do this. You know, some people I cannot look at them in the eyes. They're so filled with poison. They're gone. Their mind is gone. I can't. We got people sticking needles in their arm, going hungry, families fighting, everyone working 40, 50 hours a week to be bored, when in reality, everyone is fucking very wealthy and self-sustaining. They're fucking us. They're running a game on us. And we can end it. We know exactly where to go and exactly what to do. We got some people backing us. The earth is flat. At the North Pole, there's a shaft that leads to a giant opening where there's a sun and a continent the size of the United States. In this place, there are 60,000 books of mathematics. These people speak with telepathy. A grape is fucking huge. Fruit is huge. There's no radiation. The plants are ancient. They just adapt. They keep growing. These people are who is backing us. Now, if we had sent you a documentary type film, we would like for you to put that link in your Instagram bio for 24 hours. Just 24 hours. We have to get this information out there. For the longest time, Red Pill, there, Jake.
Yeah, I'm here.
I remember how we used to be like, the Illuminati, man. Fuck, we can't do anything about them. We were scared of them. Remember that shit?
Yeah. A few years ago, yeah. 4 or 5 years ago.
We have to let everyone know who really has the power. Who has the power? Who is it, Jake? Who has the power?
Bruh, the elders do, and we're backed by them, so we got it. People like me and you.
So, there are 24 elders. 24. That's in the Bible, too. You see 24 elders in a white robe with a gold crown on their head. These 24 elders are scientists. They made air. The air that you are breathing, this goes deep. This goes very deep. They made the air that you are breathing, the eyes that you are looking at this phone or computer with. They made your body, water, the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets. These 24 elders are scientists who made everything. 600 years ago, these elders, they evaluated us, this and that. These people have gone through the way. We're killing each other. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
I'm standing on the table. These 24 elders said, these people have lost their way. They're killing each other. They're being enslaved by kings and queens. They have no fucking idea what's going on. We have to do something about it. 22 out of 24
erase every thought that has ever been thought. Now, only two of these elders said don't do it. They're going to gather 144,000 people. They're going to come together real strong, and they're going to fix humanity's mistakes. I'm on a fast, by the way. So, we know exactly where to go and exactly what to do. And you know that we know exactly what to do, because it went from 2 elders to 24. And in actuality, what happened was, 600 years ago, it was 2. I started teaching this, and I'm trying to light the fire. You know, I'm just trying to start this. Anyone can be as big of a part of this as they want to be. You know what I'm saying? And when this is all over, you're going to need to be a leader in your community. These people, they cannot lead themselves, you know. They're going to need you. So, everywhere you go, people will have love for you. It's not about being famous. It's about being able to connect with people on a very deep level. I'm not trying to be that, you know, I'm just, dude, I love you. I like to hang out in the sun. I like to mountain bike. I'm a cool dude. I love you. Straight up, you know, I love you. All right, so look, the plan is so good. The plan is so good. Look, I started teaching. I got high and went down to 1. One of the elders backed out with the plan. The plan is so good that now 24, all 24 elders are on board. So, you know what that means? For the past 600 years, 22 of these elders, so all but 2, said, I'm done. These fucking people, they're in my house. They made this place. They're in my house. They're fucking killing each other. They're being enslaved. They have no idea what is going on. This is so bad. They have lost their way. They have lost their way. You know? Have to do something about it. I'm done. Fire. We're gonna fucking burn everything and start over. Now, those elders, for the past 600 years, have wanted to wipe everything off. They said, I'm done, and I'm in. You fuck with them at all. Listen, these people, they have been wanting to wipe off the whole slate. Now, they want us to fix humanity's mistakes. So that means they have no problem with one of these wheels made of crystal going above the ocean, dropping a missile into the ocean with a drill bit, going into the earth, boom, water, tsunami. They have no problem with flooding the whole fucking continent. If you put enough of those in the ocean, you can flood an entire continent from that wheel made of crystal. So, this flies and can monitor your thoughts. So, we have no problem with that. There's a fucking fault line from California to Colorado. All the way from California. Jay, you ever seen that on? Wait, what? That fault line from California to Colorado. You're in Utah, right? So that's up. Yeah, it's like basically in between. I'm like on it, I guess. Yeah, nah, you'd be straight. But look, that fault line would activate. You would see cities go down. That would be the possibly the biggest fucking earthquake that there has ever been. One of them at least. Now, we have no problem with alien abductions. Those wheels, listen. Listen. Who is the Messiah? Anyone can be the Messiah. Jake is the Messiah. I am the Messiah. You are the Messiah. Who the Messiah is? It's someone who can become so pure, so righteous, with long hair too. So pure, so righteous. They embody spiritual principles. Oh, need to wear a mask. Oh, what's up, my boy? All right. The Messiah is someone who embodies spiritual principles so much that when you look at them, you see God inside of them. And that takes mastery. That takes mastering your life, mastering your mind, your sexual emotions, your sexual urges, your eating habits, everything. It takes mastery to do that. So, anyone can become the Messiah. This is an open invitation, you know? So, you could literally turn into Jesus. We know exactly how to do that. And everyone, what I'm saying is, 144,000 good that all 24 elders are on board. So we're gonna fucking do this. The Illuminati, those people, they have so much power. There's never been such an evil, powerful organization since the beginning of the earth, okay? These people, they have so much power. It's similar to someone who sticks a needle in their arm. They say, all right, I gotta go pee in this cup, but fuck it. You know, they stick a needle in their arm 3 days before they have to piss in a cup. The next day, they still got the fuck, they're still banging the dope until like a couple hours, and then they say, fuck it. You know, they become delusional. These people have so much power, they forget. They forget. They think that they're God. They forget. The 24 elders named the bodies in there, and they have technology. They can blow them out of the fucking water, like literally blow them out of the fucking water. You know? So, you cannot shoot that wheel down. Your jets, your fighter jets can be shot down. That wheel, you cannot shoot it down. There are between 1,500 and 3,000 of these. They can flood an entire continent. They can do whatever. You know, we're going to do this. You're going to have a rich, beautiful, meaningful, loving, adventurous life. Anyone can be as big of a fucking Tarzan as you want to be. We have some people backing us. No one can kill you. So it is game on. We want you to put this, when we put this into the documentary, we want you to put this link into your Instagram for at least one day. Just please, for one day. Hear us out. We know whether or not you believe the earth is flat, whether or not you believe in the 24 elders. I believe in you. I believe in me. I don't think that these Illuminati are going to get away with this. And I damn sure am not going to wait for them to come around with a FEMA camp and cut off my fucking head in a FEMA camp. So, we're going to go do some things we're at least going to try before we die. Right, Jake?
Of course, dude. I don't know. Yeah, we've all had that thought, like, oh shit, I'm about to get my head chopped off at like a FEMA camp.
Yeah, I know.
I ain't scared of that shit no more. It's not gonna happen because we're already living in it. Basically, they already got us by the balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm so ready to fucking be done and just go like live on my own now. Like literally like not on the grid at all. I want to be off the grid, you know?
Yeah.
Just be able to be self-sufficient. That's all I want to do. So we're about to get a community, bro.
Another option, if we all were to get 1 month's worth of rent, so around $1,000, 144,000 people, do you know how many thousands of fucking acres we can buy every month, and then plant our own food? 1 acre can produce $250,000 worth of food a year. We could grow hemp. We could grow fruit, veggies. We could have businesses. We could be self-sustaining,
still able to like perform on like a really selfless level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people like get hurt by others and they never trust again, but you know, like everything's a learning experience. So the yin and the yang is like really important in like shaping who we are. Because without bad shit happening to us, we probably would be doing it to someone else, you know?
For sure. And I just want to say, look, the amount of people that are watching this live stream right now, are you aware that if we were to come together and stop fucking around, we could change this matrix upside down? Anyone who watches this, all the people combined, that is all it takes to start this fire. We can do this. We know exactly. Trust me, the plan is so good. I'm not going to reveal that. But we know exactly where to go and what to do. The plan is so good, all 24 elders are on board. 600 years ago, only 2 said maybe, this maybe, they could turn this around. Now it's all 24. We know what to do. This is real. We're going to have a rich, beautiful, meaningful life.
Of course. Make it meaningful too.
Anyone can be as big of a part of this as they want to be. And when this is all over, you will need to be a leader in your community because these people have lost their way. So everyone, it's not 144,000. By the way, why are we using this number? Because they got a prophet. Who a prophet is? It's someone who can think so fast. They can predict things before they happen. They get that message, they either speak it or they send it telepathically to someone else who hears a voice and they think it's God. Someone else who hears a voice and they think it's God. That's how we get prophecy. The Bible, the Torah, the Holy Quran, all these old books, the prophecy, they come from someone who can think so fast. And they either say it or they share the message with you. Trust me, this guy, he's going to come and he's going to say this, and then 144,000 people are going to come together, and together, we are going to do very specific things, fix humanity's mistakes. No need to wipe the slate clean. The reason why there's an Illuminati is because the elders haven't wiped everything off because they believe in you. The elders, they believe in me, they believe in you, they believe in us. All 24 are on board. It has to get worse before it can turn around completely and get better. So, that's my signal to head out. Alright, man, peace.
Later, guys.
Wait, hold, we gotta do that again. I have one track. Alright, on a count of 3, 2, 1. I want to salute the 24 elders who made air, plant, cell, water, the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets. There are 12 major and 12 minor. On a count of 3 or 1, even if you're watching this on our 24-hour live feed, you're going to salute the 24 elders. 3, 2, 1.
I'll talk to you later, bro.